So a week has gone by since recording this video, and a few things were updated pretty much the same day of the video, but in the last week, a lot of other stuff has been updated, and I figured it was time for a good State of Mr. Pandaria Remix update. So here we go. That day, after posting that video, they addressed one of the major issues in that video. Account-wide rings, neck, and trinkets. That was a big win. Pretty much the same, like the next day of the video, basically, or the same day, not sure which. And they started, of course, obviously the cat and mouse continued, like I said it would. Remember how in that video I talked about how you can farm Orden priests for lesser charms? Yeah, that got hotfixed. Every other hyper spawn people found got hotfixed. They went to goats, that got hotfixed. They went to cranes, that got hotfixed. They went to Kung Lai, the farm, that got hotfixed. You know, the cat and mouse continued, while Blizzard still held their ground on the bronze upgrade costs. And meanwhile, still being slow to fix bugs. So where's my character in it? Well, I still played it pretty hard. And by the way, an irony, I got my cloak nerfed like 2 days after my video for being a frog farmer, even though I literally killed maybe 20 frogs because I couldn't find a group and said, screw this, I'm gonna go farm somewhere else. And like I said, I farmed the Orden Priests, which was a legitimate farm for getting this to Exalted. But I suspect that the way they did it, because I talked to a lot of other players, they looked at two things. Did you kill frogs? And is your cloak really high? My cloak was really high, and I killed a couple dozen frogs. I must be a frog farmer. They nerfed my cloak to the ground. I still grind it back up doing legitimate things like daily quests, daily raids, rare spawns. I didn't do anything. I didn't hyperspawn, farm, or do any degenerate thing at all. Fear, trash, farming, etc. All the things people were doing that got nerfed, I didn't do any of this. But they took hours of farming rep and re-rolled my cloak back basically 3 days. Of course, I grinded it back up slowly. There's people out there who have massively higher cloaks than this, who are still doing all this, and there have been no further rollbacks yet. And Blizzard recently posted here. They pretty much held their ground and said they are never updating the bronze cost. Or lowering the bronze cost. It's going to stay the same. And they say just upgrade now because it's not getting cheaper later. It is what it is. Now I'm an unusual player. I'm not like the average player. You know, I'm putting in hours every day into this, you know, clearing all the raids daily, you know, raid info. Heroic full clear. 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 Mythic full clear. This is getting bronze. On top of that, you can't see it now because I already did them. Daily regular scenario. Daily heroic. Sorry, dungeon. Scenario. Daily normal. Daily heroic because they're great sources of bronze. These less so. I'm not doing this for bronze. This is great for leveling and boosting up your cloak XP though. And obviously all the daily quests. I even have a week hour up here that shows, you know, I did everything except for these lower world bosses. World bosses are only for threads, so I didn't really miss out on bronze not doing these two today. They weren't up, I moved on. I wasn't going to wait 15 minutes for them to respawn or try to find a group that's doing them, and the group finder's still filled with, you guessed it, hyper farms. So it's like, whatever. The ones that really matter are these. Raid quests, scenario quests, dungeon quests. So anyways, my feedback on the State of Remix. I still think it's a phenomenal event, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. As you can see, I got my achievements, I got my feat of strength, you know, raids right here, got my title. And it's been a good experience because I very much enjoyed this expansion when it was live. You know, I got Realm First Heroic Garage back then too. So there's been a lot of nostalgia for me specifically playing this event. And you can see I spent a lot of time on Timeless Isle because my mailbox is full of goat fur. Not goat fur. Yak fur. If you've been farming Timeless Isle rares, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oops. I must have not looted a rare. But what are my opinions of what they should have done with the bronze? Instead of this, I feel like they're still approaching it the wrong way. But I realized they wanted gated progression so that like you don't get this in like a single day. The hyper farm should be nerfed. I still stand by that. I think the way they rolled back the frog farmers, they did it wrong because for one, they didn't lose any power. They still had 556 gear that wasn't taken away from them. Rolling the cloak back did fuck all. And then they rolled the cloak back against several people I know didn't farm frogs, but maybe incidentally killed a few because they were farming rares on Timeless Isle and their frogs in the way to get the buffo. Like I say I only killed like 20 or 30. I might have killed more than that because I forgot about buffo. Every time I killed buffo, I probably killed 5 more frogs. So clearly I was hyper farming frogs, but whatever. I'm not salty over it. I'm just saying they did the fix wrong. And so far, they're still being stubborn about the bronze cost, and here's why that's a problem. I haven't made a second character yet. You wanna know why? This is why. If I make a second character, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. What they should be doing with the bronze is every week lowering the cost for specific upgrades and doing it in a tactful way, you know, similar to how they raise the Valor cap every week in Cataclysm or other older expansions, or how they raise the cap of crests you can earn where you can catch up. That's what they're missing, a catch-up mechanic for this. Like, for example, I can't really show the previous ranks. But I'll use this for an example. Let's say this isn't rank 34, it's rank like... Well, the first rank at level 70. Let's say like... The first 3 days, that rank costs 4,500. The next 3 days, that rank becomes cheap, but the rank after it is still 4,500. So that way, if a player starts late, they can catch up on ranks, because the earlier ranks are getting cheaper over time, while the later ranks still require a high cost. That's the way I think they should be doing it. Like, I'm thinking, and that also helps with alts too. Like, even people talked about how like, oh, well, let's say I upgrade all my gear my main. It should be low cost to my alt. The problem with that is, again, let's say you hyper farmed frogs. All your gear is maxed out. Not every alt you have would also have maxed out gear because you hyper farm frogs. This again would punish players who are coming in later, while rewarding the players who, you know, exploit early, exploit often. You don't want to do that. You want to have a system to where the cost goes down over time for everyone, for both alts and players who are coming in late to this event. And then it could be a gradual unlock by rank, you know. Instead of like a global discount, you know, ranks 1 through 5. Now discount ranks 5 through 10. Now discount ranks 10 through 15, etc. And then like 4 weeks in, everything's discounted. So your alts can, you know, roll in here and join the fun. You know, they want to make players look at this event and go, hey, should I start this today? Right now the answer is no. You're going to queue up you're going to try to find a group. Nobody's going to take you to anything. They're going to look at your eye level and say, get the fuck out of here. 450 or higher. They don't want, like, that's pretty much what it is. Like, I'm going to go into group finder right now. It's 8 a.m. I might not see good examples, but let's see. Pre-made groups. Raid. Let's see here. And sadly, this is filled with people still farming shit. Yeah, there aren't a lot of groups right now, and half of them are still people farming stuff. Even though they fixed the Kung Lai farm, they already hotfixed the hyperspawn. People are still doing it because people are still looking for the path of least resistance. And it's like, some want to get super strong, but some are just trying to catch up. You know, these people, they can't even do legitimate stuff. Like, I'm lucky that I can get into any raid I want because I can just shit on everything. You know, I've got good gear now. So, no one's gonna say no to me coming to a raid. I do big damage, and I don't die. I've got over 7 million health. But if you try to queue up with 1 million health, or you know, you're a fresh 70 with your eye level still, you know, 342, yeah, you're not getting a group. And it's hard because it's like, what? You need to get the ball rolling to keep it rolling. Like right now, I don't need to do hyper farms. I get a crap ton of bronze just doing this. And you know how long it took to clear all these raids? Like a couple hours. Especially the heroic ones. Like, Terrace, that was like 10 minutes. Mogashan, 10 minutes. Heart of Fear, 15 minutes. Throne of Thunder and Siege on heroic, that takes longer because they have so much RP. The longest part of these runs is the RP or the monumental trash amount between bosses. Like the Throne of Thunder, one of the slowdowns is the snail trash. In Siege, it's just all the RP. Galakras, Neuroshen, Garrosh. So much RP, so much standing around. The RP is longer than the actual boss fight, I kid you not. The boss just disintegrates. Faster than the RP is, for some of them. But this is about 50k bronze. When I'm done with this, 50k or more. That's like a full round of upgrades, daily. My eye level tomorrow is going to be like 460. My eye level after that is going to be 470. And it's not from hyperspawns, it's just from playing the game as they intend. But the thing is, people who are starting late, people who didn't farm early, they can't start, they can't get that ball rolling. They're still going uphill. Because the startup costs are rough. And yeah, you get 40k bonus to start. That's one round of upgrades. You need more than one round of upgrades to start. So Blizzard needs to initiate some kind of weekly catch-up mechanic. Like yesterday. There needs to be a catch-up mechanic. They need to take the first 10 ranks of gear upgrades at 70 and take 0 off those prices now. Like, and then over time continue to do that with further ranks. This is what needs to happen like yesterday. This is not the answer. Telling players, you got 2.5 months of the event still, so don't worry, we're not lowering the costs. This is the quickest way to say, don't play this. And people who want to argue and say, but they're right, you have 2.5 months. Beta starts next week for everyone, for War Within. Everyone who bought the Epic Edition beta. This event is over for a lot of players in 1 week. So should the last week of the event be ruined for players who didn't start early or exploit or hyperfarm or have 10 hours a day to get to a point where they can do where they're on easy street now? Blizzard needs to recognize that for some players, the event doesn't have 2.5 months left. It has 1 week, 2 weeks. You know, some people already moved on because Cataclysm launched. And yeah, they can come back to this, you know, when they're done doing their thing in beta and they're doing their thing in Cataclysm. But if the prices are still the same when they come back, let's say, sorry for that edit there. It's probably not going to be a clean edit either, but, you know, life happens. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, even if players do come back later, because this event's going to be going for a while, you know, maybe they do play beta for a while and decide to come back. If Blizzard's stance is still this, they're still screwed when they come back. They're still going to come back, and it's even been worse. Everyone's going to be 556. They're not going to get group invites. They're going to be kicked from dungeons because they're too weak. You know, the WoW community is what it is, you know. If you're behind, you are a pariah. It's that simple. And that's why Blizzard needs to recognize this mode needs a catch-up mechanic. Just straight up, period. You don't need to take the upgrade costs and go like extreme and say you can go to max rank with like 1,000 bronze or anything extreme, you know, like I understand Blizzard wants this to have some kind of longevity, which is why they could like have a gated unlock. But that's not their stance right now. Their stance is grind hard and get there like this. This is the wrong stance, Blizzard. It is the wrong stance, and it needs to change. And hopefully they consider changing, because right now they're... every day they're proving that this cat and mouse, but it's going nowhere. You know, the player's going to continue looking for a new way to get ahead, and Blizzard's going to keep nerfing it, and players will continue to find new ways, because they're just trying to get the ball rolling, because to do that, it's too hard to start. It's very easy to, once you get to this point, it's very easy to keep the ball rolling. Like, once you get to the top of the hill, I'm coasting downhill. I'm going to be max gear in 2 days without even trying. I don't need to farm any frogs or goats or yaks or yongal or anything else that people are farming to do it. I'll do it the way Blizzard intends because, you know, my ball's already rolling. But they just need to throw a bone to players who are behind, or give me a reason to play an alt. I don't want to play this character I almost don't want this character. So I can either leave the remix and call it done forever, or I could level up a few alts and finish up some heritage achievements, which would be kind of fun too. But I don't want to play any alts, you know, until I do some kind of catch-up mechanic. But anyways, that's the weekly status update. And so thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.